Welcome back to the Code With Me videos for Chapter 8. In this video, we're covering activities 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, and 8.9. Whew, that's a whole lot. Let's get started. For the first activity, 8.5, we're actually going to be adding a call span to a few of the rows. The first thing is going into the cup value right here and modifying this th with a call span equals how many? Well, 1, 2, 3. We're going to make 3. Now there's a small problem here. Once we save and refresh with the prices page, you notice that it pushes everything over, well, by 2 columns. And that's because we actually have these 2 cells right here that are pushing everything out of the way. Once you have call span added, it's pushing things out of the way until there's no more information. So we need to go ahead and get rid of those extra THs. We save, we refresh, and now you notice that cup spans 3 columns and is right next to cone. So let's go ahead and add the cone call span as well. Call span equals 3. Get rid of that space. Good. Save, refresh, and now cone spans 3 columns. But it still has 2 columns left because, well, that's right here. If we were to say, and the last one, call span equals 60. We save, refresh. What happened here? Well, if we actually had extra cells, then it would be able to push the cells that exist outward. But because there are no cells after this, it has nothing to push. Therefore, it just narrows it down to 1. So, in order to get rid of all that, we just get rid of these 2 lines. We save. And now, the cup and the cone span 3 columns each. The last thing we're going to do for a call span is actually modify this area right here. If you recall from the last video, if we took out all these extra TDs, then the table itself would just provide vacant space. But it doesn't know how to modify this right here to fit under this table. Again, computers are smart, they're not this smart. So what we're going to do is actually in TD, add call span, and how many do we need? 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You may think, oh, well, we have sizes, that's 1 column, cup is 1 column, and cone is 1 column, right? Well, if we say that's only 3, that takes care of part of it, but it only goes by the small and the medium, because based on how many columns are available, small and medium are 2 columns, and sizes is 1 column. So that way, we need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Modify this to 7. Save, refresh, and now the bottom cell spans across the whole table. If we said column span equals 70, we save, refresh, it doesn't do anything because there's nothing else beyond the last column. So it doesn't know exactly how big 70 columns is. In this case, 7 columns is perfect. Okay, next, we are adding row span. And the first row span we're adding is with sizes. If you notice, sizes has a blank row below it. So what we can do is actually go into the sizes cell. In this case, it's row 13, and add row span equals how many? Well, let's just say 2 for the cup and the small, medium, large, and cone, small, medium, large. So in this case, 2. Save, refresh, and what just happened? Well, what happened is that when sizes moves down to merge with the second row, it pushes the first cell over by 1 in the next column. And that first cell is actually right here because, well, that makes up the next row, and because there's nothing in the first column except for sizes, that first cell gets pushed over by 1. So if we get rid of that first row in the first cell in the next row, we save. Now we see that sizes merges with the 2 rows and everything else spaces out. So even though the next row only has 6 columns, meanwhile the following one has 7, that's because, well, we're taking up the first row, or the first cell in the next row, with the row span in the sizes cell. Okay, row span, call span, good. Okay. Activity 8.7. we're separating the data into different organizational sections. So the first thing we're going to do is separate the table header. And the table header is not table header, no. It's not table heading, it's not heading, it's not header. It is just T head, not thread, just T head. Based on that, we're going to close the T head line, actually right here after line 25. What that means is that all this stuff right here, line 13 to 25, is actually going to be part of the T head, or the table header, because it is technically the head of the table. Now, if you save, you refresh, you notice there's not any visual difference. But if you're a search engine, you know exactly what to do and how to process this information, because it's separated by a T head. Let's go ahead and separate the rest into the T body and the T foot. So the rest down here between the TR, between the table rows, T body. We get all this information down to here, close the T body, save, refresh. Again, no visual difference, but now search engines know what the body of the table is. And the last one is the T foot, not the T footer, not the T footing, just T foot. We take this, tab it over, or space it over, and close our T foot. Save, refresh. No visual difference. But if you take a look at the code, you can see now we easily separate the header, the body, and the footer of the table, making that easy for search engines and assistive devices to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay, so that is it for this video. We merged our cells, organized, and grouped our items together. In the next video, we're going to be talking about scoping and accessibility. So if you have any questions regarding Chapter 8 or this Code With Me video, please send me an email or hit me up on Twitter and I'll get back to you with the best possible answer.